Hey everybody, Nick here, and today I got a disassembly for you on this little guy. This is the CRKT Inara, the Richard Rogers design. And we're going to go ahead and take this little guy apart. This is a super simple knife. It's a very small little steel frame locky guy. I really expect this is going to be a pretty quick in and out sort of thing. Just before we get started here, centering is roughly right on, which is good, and there is no play in either direction. All right, good. And actually, I got to say, the action's pretty smooth as it stands. So, goal is going to be to maintain that through a disassembly process. All right, so we'll pop out that screw. Pop out this screw here. And I'm using a mat that has some holes in it, such that I know where screws go. Beautiful. And oh, you're free spinning, aren't you? You are. All right. Grab my second T6 driver. If you're ever curious about this or any of the other tools I'm using during my disassembly videos, go ahead and go to nickshabazz.com/tools, and you will see a listing of all of my tools, as well as a discussion about them. All righty. This should be... Do you want to come out? Is that what's going on here? Yeah, it looks like the screw on the clip side wants to come out. That's weird, but okay, I can live with this. All right, let's pop out the pivot here, which looks to be T8, and it is free spinning as well, but at least it's tooled on both sides. Guys, come on. Simple, 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 so simple problems. Let's go ahead and loosen, loosen, loosen. Who's coming loose? It looks like the show side. And the knife is disassembling itself in my hand. There we go. Beautiful. That was easy. Whoa, what the heck? Okay. Alrighty, so we have a weirdness here. This knife is on bearings with a Teflon barrier around them for some damn reason. That's not what I expected at all. I looked in there, I saw Teflon, was thinking, oh, this is weirdly smooth for Teflon. No, actually, it's a bearing knife. But for some reason, they put those Teflon washers around them such that I don't know. You know, one of the possibilities is that it's meant to be there as a barrier for, like, keeping crud out of the pivot. That's one thing. Another possibility, actually, is that it is designed to provide a little extra lateral support for the blade, such that, you know, if you're holding the knife, here, let me use another knife, like use the CRKT Thero, such that if you're doing something like this, where you're moving the blade back and forth on this axis, like back and forth, you get a little more support, so the bearings don't dig in. That strikes me as another possible reason to do something like that. Honestly, am I super convinced? No, but, you know, why not, I suppose. Just need to make sure those bearing, the Teflon bearing cages there, or whatever the heck that's called, go back in the proper position. This is, oh, there's a steel insert here. That's weird. That's real weird. Might be a shim to make sure the blade is centered, like a way they adjusted it at the factory. Either way. There it is. It is what it is. We'll go ahead and clean off these little Teflon bits here. The stainless steel shim goes on the lock side. That's an important detail. And actually, what I'm going to go ahead and do... Actually, there's one on the other side, too. Although it doesn't make sense. Unless that's titanium, or... Is this... Hold on. No, it's steel. All right, using this pen, which I know to be strongly magnetic. Yeah, I really, maybe it's not the right kind of steel. I don't know. Either way, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to drop that back into position there. I'm hoping that once I get this really thick, nasty grease off of this guy, it will be in a much better position to run beautifully. But we will see. Sometimes these factories do not do the knife any favors with their choice of lubrication. I often talk about, I do these disassembly maintenance videos all the time, and some people are like, Nick, why do you take a knife? But, in some cases, and this is particularly true on the lower end, in some cases, you actually can get a market improvement in performance and just sort of tightness, tolerance, well, not tolerances, but just overall, you get a tighter ship, so to speak. Oh, I forgot to put on the lubrication. When you do this part yourself rather than somebody who's currently being paid, well, I'm not going to get into how much they're being paid, but to do 1,000,000 of these in a single shift. So that is sort of a different thing. And so that's the main reason that I am... that I do these disassemblies myself, even on a knife that's fresh from the factory. And of course, the other reason being that I want to make sure that I am reviewing all knives on even footing, and so if I get one in that's been relatively used or something like that, I want to make sure that I'm not, saying, oh, this is a terrible knife because it wasn't well assembled, because some jackass I borrowed it from went ahead and did something weird with it. There appears to be some kind of gunction or another in the lock bar hole here. I don't know what that's about, but ew. Looks like earwax. Could be bad grease that's gone crystallized. The only other possibility, and the thing that I really hope this not to be the case, but one possibility too is that they actually put something in there because they drilled the hole. No, it shouldn't be a question of too deep with this bit. Look, I'm just assuming then that this blade got something trapped in there and it got either way, ew. Again, this is the joy of doing your own maintenance, is that you can go ahead and fix that kind of thing. Is that actually going to affect the action? No, probably not. Unless whatever is in there is ugly enough that it's going to spoil your oil, so to speak, which sounds like a euphemism for something. But either way, oh man, that really spoiled my oil. Anyways, hopefully we're going to be a little better off now, having done that. Washers and bearings. This is not what I expected today. I'm going to say that. Go ahead and... I think I wiped this off, but I'll wipe it one more time. Maybe I hadn't. Either way. There we go. And now I place these Teflons around the outside of the bearing. Now I put this right here. And I'm going to depress the lock bar a little bit just to make sure everything snaps into position here. Now, I have done things too soon. I have messed with the natural order of things, because I do not have any thread locker on my pivot, and I need to install my pivot. So I'm using my hand here to hold sandwich the knife together as I apply the thread locker here. Alrighty. And once I've got the thread locker, I'll just go ahead and I'll install the pivot. And I'll do so pretty loosely. But I just want things to stay in their rough configuration inside there, because... go a little tighter. Now I need to slide in this backspacer. Oh, damn it, I'm an idiot. I am such an idiot. This would have made perfect sense if they were all on the same side, if all the barrels were, that is, but it is not. So I need to loosen this up a little bit more. Now what I can do is slide this in here. Come on. Do I have this in backwards? Yes, I do. It's nice that these are designed such that that doesn't work. Going in backwards, that is. Oh, you bastard. Come on. Sorry, just hit the camera with my Batman mask. There were many sentences I never expected to be uttering during my adult life, but you know what? Here I am, so... I've often found that the key to having an absurd life, which I do, is being aware of it and being willing to laugh at it. All right, there's that. A little bit of thread locker here. Here's this. And this guy needs to go in through the other side. This is a clip screw as well as a body screw. And tighten that down. Okay. Now, pivot is hopelessly under tight. Let's go ahead and tighten this guy up. That's right. Free spinning. So we take our T8 driver here. Place it in the hole. Turn. All right, where we at? No play. Not quite centered. But, yeah, that'll do. What I want to do to check to see about the centering is I tightened these screws down before I was able to tighten down the pivot. So I thought the pivot was a little tighter than it was, but I guess I forgot to So by loosening these screws, I'm letting some of the tension out of the system. And then hopefully what that'll mean is when I tighten them back down again, and I'm actually going to, because right now with those screws loose, we are very slightly favoring the lock side, which means that we are probably over-tightened the pivot. I'll play with that a little bit as well. Actually here, let me do that right now. Try and loosen up the pivot. Just the smidgest of smidges. Free spinning. It's a little detail, but it's one I really wish people would address more regularly. All right, centering is dead nuts on. Is there play? No play. Now I can tighten these screws here. And the knife is... Whew, that's an action right there. Knife is fully assembled. There we go. All right. Hope this has been interesting to you. And most of all, have yourselves an absolutely wonderful rest of your day. Bye now.